Ladies and gentlemen, I can proudly sit here and say, finally, Smackdown was a good show. Finally, we actually had a good episode of Smackdown. Yes, there were some things that I wasn't a fan of, but that's obviously the case in every show. If you think it's good or if you think it's bad, there's always got to be something in there that you, as a fan, do not appreciate. But I'm not one of those people that will completely trash every single thing on the show. That's not me. But anyway, let's start things off here with... You know what? Let's start off with some positivity, shall we? We're going to talk about Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is back on television. Great to see her back. It's about time she came back. And hopefully now this will start build towards Sasha Banks versus Bayley at WrestleMania. What I hope for is that I think it's quite clear that Sasha Banks is going to be embracing the babyface role. I don't see them turning Bayley back babyface. I don't think Bayley should go back babyface, honestly. I think Bayley should remain as a heel. I think it's only a matter of time until Sasha Banks becomes a babyface. So Sasha Banks is back. Naomi pinned Bayley. Now, at the end, in a tag team match, because their first match ended by DQ because of Sasha Banks' interference. Now, I don't want to hear it, okay? I don't want to hear it from anyone. Oh, Sasha lost in her hometown. Oh, she's already ruined. No, she's not ruined. She was protected. When it comes to a tag team match, the person that doesn't get pinned is the one that gets protected. Sasha Banks may have lost the tag match, but she wasn't pinned. I feel like Naomi pinning Bayley made the most sense because Bayley and Naomi are still feuding. They're still feuding, so it makes sense for Bayley to pin, for Naomi to pin Bayley. Sasha is most likely going to waltz into the Elimination Chamber because, as far as we know, this entire show is going to be filled with Elimination Chambers. But I feel like Sasha Banks is going to get her match with Bayley at WrestleMania. I feel like that is the direction they're going to go. I think Naomi versus Bayley is going to take place at the Elimination Chamber. And yes, I know Becky Lynch doesn't have an opponent, but they blew that chance. They should have had Becky inside the Elimination Chamber, but they blew that chance. So I think Bayley should defend her title at the Elimination Chamber against Naomi, and then you have the following women: Sasha, Lacey, Mandy, Sonya, Dana, and Alexa inside the Elimination Chamber, and you have them fight for an opportunity at WrestleMania. You have Sasha Banks win that, and you have Sasha versus Bayley. You make it look like that Bayley. You have Bayley come out when Sasha wins the chamber. You make it look like she's happy for Bayley, but then she attacks Sasha Banks. I think it's quite clear they're going to go with Sasha Banks as a babyface and Bayley as the heel. I feel like that is the direction they are going to go, and I'm very, very excited, very happy to see Sasha Banks back. And as a passionate Sasha Banks fan, I just want to let you guys know that I get very annoyed when I hear those stupid fans constantly say Sasha's unhappy. Honestly, I get so sick of it that she's unhappy or she's gonna leave WWE. I get sick of it. I get so goddamn sick of it. It just drives me crazy. And I love how Sasha Banks continues to prove all those idiots wrong. Every single time she's on a hiatus, they all think she's unhappy. She's going to leave the company. She's going to come to AEW. But no, she doesn't. Sasha Banks is irreplaceable. Vince McMahon told Sasha Banks, you are irreplaceable. Means you cannot be replaced. Vince McMahon is never going to let Sasha Banks go. So people need to grow up and accept the fact that she is staying in the WWE until the day she retires. I think people need to start accepting that. And Dave Meltzer, the cancer of professional wrestling, needs to accept it as well. Baron Corbin is right. Dave Meltzer is a cancer to the wrestling community. Not just the community, but to wrestling in general. I am happy to see Sasha Banks back. Really looking forward to seeing her and Bayley go at it at WrestleMania. So let's talk about the other stuff. That was the positive that I'm going to give you guys. Well, there's one more positive, but I'll talk about that later. The way the show began was Goldberg. He got booed by the fans, as he should, for what happened at that disastrous Super Showdown, which I absolutely did not want to review. Goldberg is now Universal Champion, and he wants to know who's next. And Roman Reigns comes out. Roman Reigns comes out. He says, "I'm next," and that's that. Then 1 hour later, they announce Roman Reigns versus Goldberg at WrestleMania. I mean, didn't Sheamus last week say that he was entering the Elimination Chamber? What in the blithering hell are you doing, WWE? Why couldn't you just have Roman earn his opportunity against Goldberg? But you're just going to give it to him? You're going to screw Sheamus. You're going to screw Sheamus, a guy that said he was going in the Elimination Chamber, and you cancel his Elimination Chamber match. Was it because there was too many Elimination Chamber matches? Well, you already announced 3. Most likely 4 with the Smackdown women. It makes no sense. Why are you going to can that Elimination Chamber? You had Sheamus cut that promo about entering the Elimination Chamber, and it was all for nothing. It was all for nothing. Just give this guy written in me face. Just give him back his old music and have him challenge for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Honestly, it was so ridiculous how they announced an Elimination Chamber match, but then they just completely can it, and they just say, "Here you go, Roman. You can have your title match." And honestly, I'm going to tell you guys this. As much as I do not like the idea of Goldberg as Universal Champion, I would much rather Goldberg and Roman Reigns versus The Fiend versus Roman Reigns. Because if Roman Reigns beat The Fiend, everybody would be booing Roman Reigns for beating The Fiend. Right? So I would rather Roman Reigns beat Goldberg than Roman Reigns beat The Fiend. I'm just, being honest with you. I would take that over Roman Reigns beating The Fiend. But whatever. So after the women's match, we had Robert Roode versus Kofi Kingston. Robert Roode actually won a match. Good grief! I never thought I'd actually say that sentence. Robert Roode wins the match, and yeah, he beats Kofi. He beats Kofi. Very surprising. So then we have an Intercontinental Championship contract signing. Braun Strowman's going to defend his Intercontinental Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura. As it was promised, he was going to get his rematch. But it ends up being changed to a 3-on-1 handicap match, all because Braun Strowman said that he doesn't care what's inside the contract. He knows he'll end up fighting all 3 of them. Honestly, I would actually think that this would be a good time to have Braun Strowman drop the championship. I'm not a big fan of Braun as champion. I feel like it's way too late for him to be a champion. Sure, it's great that he's finally got a title and all, but I can't take Braun seriously. And do you want to know why I still can't take Braun seriously? Because he lost to Tyson Fury. I'm still sticking to my claim that I can't take him seriously because he couldn't beat a boxer. Jesus Christ, they better not do Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury at WrestleMania. I would much rather see Sami Zayn or Cesaro win the Intercontinental Championship in this handicap match if I was to pick someone to take the title from Braun Strowman. But we all know Braun is going to win the handicap match. But I would think it'd be really cool to go for a bit of a swerve and have Braun Strowman lose the Intercontinental Championship to someone like Sami Zayn, because I think Sami Zayn really deserves a title opportunity. He really does deserve a chance as a champion. We had Daniel Bryan versus Curtis Axel. I really do not get this whole Drew Gulak situation. I really don't get it. I think it's pretty silly. But Daniel Bryan beats Curtis Axel. Miz and Morrison. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Miz and Morrison. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Make their way to the ring. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Brag about there. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Title win. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. That is just so stupid. Miz and Morrison, hey, hey, ho, ho, is just so stupid. It's just so stupid. I just think it's really, really silly. And I think it's funny, but stupid at the same time. So here's the thing. You just had these guys. You just had these guys win the championships. More importantly, you just had John Morrison return. Okay? You had John Morrison return. But did Mickie James become a champion when she returned? Did Shelton Benjamin become champion when he returned? No! They didn't get shit! They didn't get shit, but John Morrison gets a title when he returns. Look, I'm not a big fan of Mickie James. I actually did like Shelton Benjamin back in his early day. But I mean, come on, you're gonna give John Morrison a title when he just came back? He's just come back! And yet you're going to give him a title. But anyway, let's get to my point. You just had John Morrison and The Miz win these championships, and you put them up against the Usos, and you have the Usos defeat them. You have the Usos beat our newly crowned tag team champions immediately. You have our champions lose straight away. What the hell is this? What the hell? It's so weird. I'm fine with I was fine with Bayley losing because I thought it made sense. It made sense for Bayley to get pinned by Naomi, but Miz and Morrison, hey, hey, ho, ho, losing this match just didn't make any sense to me. And they announce a tag team elimination chamber match. So I guess that was replaced for the men's chamber. Okay, fair enough. Just thought it was a bit stupid. I found it very funny that Miz and Morrison, hey, hey, ho, ho, lost this match right after they became the champions. Some champions. So John Cena. The big talking point of the show was John Cena. He made his return to WWE. John Cena was talking like he didn't want to be at WrestleMania this year. And he brought up the one thing that I've actually been wanting WWE to do. John Cena said that he wants everyone to focus on the current stars of today who the current stars of today. He says the current stars of today are more important than people like me competing at WrestleMania. Now, that type of stuff I really admire from John Cena. He may be in a bit of a nostalgia act, but I feel like this. I feel what John Cena is saying is true. Not just because it's WWE. It's because I feel like John Cena is telling the truth. WWE should really be focusing on the current talent of today. Not bringing back a Goldberg, an Edge, or an Undertaker. Just to take a spot up from people that actually deserve it at WrestleMania. I think John Cena was doing the right thing, but we all knew that he was going to have a match at WrestleMania, because you can't have John Cena come back and say, I'm not at WrestleMania. Yeah, I'll see you next time. But then the Fiend comes out. The Fiend is buried. Remember? The Fiend is buried, but here he is, competing against John Cena. Now, I knew the Fiend wasn't buried, okay? When the Fiend lost to Goldberg, I was angry, yes. But I didn't say the Fiend was buried. But then again, you guys didn't hear my review, so it's not like you guys didn't know what I was going to say. But if you guys saw my reactions on Twitter, you would have seen it. But the Fiend's not buried. The Fiend is not buried. I knew he wasn't buried. One loss does not equal to burial. Okay? One loss doesn't mean you're buried. There's no hope for you. It's not like that, okay? It's not like that. All I hope is that the Fiend beats John Cena at WrestleMania. That's all I want. John Cena needs to put over the Fiend, which I think he will, because John Cena made it clear that he wants everyone to focus on the stars of today. So I feel like John Cena will do the deed for Bray Wyatt and put him over. And I think that will be great. And I know a lot of people have been saying the Fiend versus John Cena needed the Universal Championship. I can agree, but I can disagree. So I'm 50-50 on this. I'm 50-50 on it because because I'm 50-50, I'll tell you guys both different sides of the spectrum. For it to be for the title, I would actually take that over Goldberg being the champion. So yes, I can definitely see that as the case. Because John Cena, looking to become that 17-time world champion, but the Fiend beating him. The Fiend beating John Cena to retain the Universal Championship does sound a lot cooler. But at the same time, on my part of the side of me that disagrees that it doesn't need the title, it's because it's a big match. The Fiend is a megastar already. He's a megastar, and I feel like it doesn't need the belt. Not every big match needs a title. Yes, Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. Yes, it doesn't need the title. Yes, I can agree. That match doesn't need the title. But because that match is for the title, I'm trying to tell you guys that I think John Cena versus The Fiend doesn't need the title. Not just because it doesn't have the title. Because I think it doesn't need it. Yes, the title being there would add to the story, but I just don't think it needs it. That's just me. Also, one other thing I did forget to mention was the Otis and Tucker situation. Otis was backstage after Robert Roode's win, and Tucker was telling Otis to forget about Mandy and let's move on. Now, from this segment alone, people are now assuming that it was Tucker that sent that text message to Otis about Mandy Rose being 1 hour late. Now, I hope that's not true. I'm really more leaning towards it being Sonya Deville. It has to be Sonya Deville. It makes sense for it to be Sonya Deville. I'm not going to speak too much about this because I talked about it last week. I feel like Sonya Deville just makes sense. It just makes sense for Sonya Deville to be the one to send a text. And then you could do three things. You could A, do a mixed tag. B, have Otis and Dolph as the final two in the mixed match. as the final two in the stupid Andre the Giant Memorial, and you have Mandy Rose help Otis win that, or three, when they reveal that it's Sonya Deville, you have Mandy and Sonya as the main focus point of this entire feud. Because you've got this first half of it being Otis trying to win over Mandy, and then when they reveal that Sonya is behind it, then you could have the second half be Mandy wanting revenge on Sonya for lying to her, for using her, for trying to control her life. And yes, I know this is very weird for me to talk about this as the last thing I'm going to mention, but as I said, I did forget to bring this up. So, I'm still leaning towards Sonya. I'm sticking to my guns. I still think it's Sonya. Them making it Tucker just doesn't make sense. And I think it'd be kind of silly if they made it Tucker. I think that would just ruin the storyline. I think what would make the storyline better is that if they reveal Sonya Deville as the one behind the text. And that's all I got to say about that, honestly. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, for this episode of SmackDown. I thought this episode of SmackDown was much better than the ones we've been getting lately. And yeah, I think this one was definitely a lot better than most SmackDowns we've been getting. So if you guys enjoyed, hit that thumbs up, comment your thoughts down below, and I will see you all next time for more. See you guys next time, guys. Like I said, hit that thumbs up, try and get it to 5 likes. See you then.